What's up, everybody? Midjourney Fast Hours podcast. Midjourney V7 edition.
Seven
Figures, but
Finally.
you forgot. You need to put them all in one hand.
We do.
5, 6, 7.
Our buddy Tim Simmons over there at Theoretically Media. I was glad he was putting up his thumbnail for version 7, and I was just like, dude, put up. It should just be 7 fingers, like that scene. You ever seen Bruce Almighty, where it's like he's like, tell me how many fingers behind your back, and he's like 5, and it's just like 7 fingers.
Yeah.
That was so. If you guys see a thumbnail that has 7 fingers, we might be copying him on that one. It was
We might do that. Yeah, it seems like a good idea.
Yeah.
Man, what I mean, it's Friday, so we normally shoot on Fridays. We were told Midjourney V7 on Monday. Monday came and went. Tuesday came and went. Wednesday came. Office hours came. Hey, tomorrow it'll happen. Tomorrow we waited all day. I received a text at 9 p.m. from Rory Flynn. He said, Guess it's not happening today. I said, nope, unless it's at midnight. Sure enough, both of our old asses went to bed. We woke up with Midjourney V7. So here we are.
And in classic Midjourney fashion, dropped it at midnight on East Coast time. So I woke up to about, I don't know, like 500 WhatsApp messages. And it was everyone that had just been generating from, on the European side, I had just been generating like all morning while I was asleep. And I was like, oh, okay. Now we got to get into this, knowing I had a crazy day today. Wasn't going to be able to just like dive in. But, this is what they do. I also felt like last night, I felt like, you know the movie Liar Liar? This is the second Jim Carrey reference of the podcast.
I know that movie very well.
Second Jim Carrey reference of the podcast, where he just keeps saying he's coming to like his kid's baseball game or to some event. He just never comes. And I'm like the kid like waiting there every day, like, oh, they're gonna drop it today. They didn't drop it today.
Yep.
But whatever, we have it. It's here.
The pen is blue.
I mean, when he was slamming his head with the toilet seat when I was a kid, that might have been the funniest thing I've ever seen. My mom hated me for that.
Oh, I love that movie. It was such a good movie. Max was the kid's name.
Max.
Dodgers. They were Dodgers. Remember, they were trying to
Jose Canseco
and Hideo Nomo.
That's right.
Yeah.
Great movie, all timer probably. That one's a classic. Keeping with our theme of 90s movies for everyone that's been following along between Heavyweights and Sandlot and whatever else we've talked about on here.
By the way, before we get in, what did you think of the end of Severance?
Oh, I loved it, dude. I was so in. Oh my god. There hasn't been a good television show like this that kept me like, I have no idea what's going on, and like it's so meticulous. Like everything has a purpose, and like everything has a place. It's so well thought out. I haven't watched a show and been like that excited about a show in a really long time. Last thing on that for me, and I'll let you go. I low-key like going back to the one episode a week thing. Like I had something to look forward to every week. It wasn't like I just binged it all and then forgot it.
For sure. Yeah, there's like pros and cons to that, right? Like
yeah.
You're glad you got them all at once on one hand, and then the other times it's like it's nice to have like a night where nothing maybe is really exciting, and then you remember you got that show.
Yeah.
Big
feel like you don't
Severance
like
fan. Yeah, but I think I'm pretty checked out. I think I'm done.
Whoa.
Actually, yeah, I think I'm done.
What?
I think I'm done. Yeah, I felt pretty good about like season 1. I was really good with, and then season 2, man, there were some episodes, especially early on, that felt really good, and then they started having all these episodes where it was just based on one character for a while too.
Yeah.
And
that's how season 2s normally go. They have to like. That's like. Did you watch Stranger Things? It's like this. It's like storytelling 101.
I know.
Like, you know what I mean? Like they do like side episodes to like try to tie the whole story together, especially with the mystery. You didn't like the side episode in when they went to like Nova Scotia or wherever the hell it was? I was like not into it, but then I was into it. I kind of digged it.
There was just too. I don't know, man. Just wasn't into it. And to be honest, like I was asking my wife, I was like, I don't even think I'd check in for season 3 when they come back.
Well,
I don't know. I think they lost me. But hey, look, like we don't disagree on much, but I don't know. It's not like the show's bad. It's just like I think the best part about like that excitement value of that show for me is like gone now. It's just like
I can hear you on that. I can see.
You know what I mean? But anyway, side stuff. I mean, Ben Stiller, still big fan. Still big fan of the Ben Stiller, book of work. You know what I mean? Like in general, love every Ben Stiller thing. I mean, I'm just thinking about, dude, you go back. There's so many ones that people don't even talk about anymore. Along Came Polly.
Oh, great one. Dodgeball.
With Jennifer Aniston and the little weasel that just keeps, he's like a blind little weasel or ferret.
Of course.
Yeah.
He has IBS and he's a risk management man.
Yes. And then what's the one where he gets married to the blonde chick and
Meet the Parents?
No. But like,
Another
dude,
great
you think of that too, right? Like you kind of forget, but like, no, it's the one where he gets married to the blonde chick and she's like kind of like grossing him out and stuff. And man, what is that?
I don't know that one. I know if you say it, I'll know it, but I'm not remembering it off the top of my head.
Come on, dude. You're supposed to be here. You're supposed to be in tune here. What am I thinking of? What is that? Guy's got so many movies. It's hard to find.
Yeah. And he has, then he has like the perfect cameos like an Anchorman when he just comes out of nowhere.
That's right. That's right.
Como están, beaches?
Yeah.
So stupid. Anchorman is another throwback classic. I feel like it's overlooked every once in a while in terms of how ridiculous it was.
Did you ever see Zoolander 2, by the way?
I did not see Zoolander 2.
I haven't either.
That's one I missed. I missed that one.
It feels like I've never heard anything about it, so I feel like it's probably something we could have missed.
I did watch Night at the Roxbury the other night, though, because that was
on TV. How was that?
It's great. Again,
dude, you know what's funny is we just went through a whole little phase with the kids too of what is love, because like I don't know where I saw a recent clip of Night of the Roxbury. This was maybe like a month and a half ago, and I was like, oh, that song, like it's been a minute since I heard that song. I bet the girls would love that song, and they loved it. So we were just playing it over, and it was that, and the song from Heavyweights, because you and I were talking about it.
Yes,
I'm just a love machine, and I don't work for nobody but you. When the guys and the girls are dancing in the man, it's so good.
We just I find myself watching this stuff more and more now from my teenage years, I guess, my early teenage years. It's just funny. I just want to like. Severance is the first show I've had to think about for a while, which is probably why I think I liked it, because I had to like think to watch it.
Yeah,
but. That's not to say that my wife was watching Temptation Island in bed last night when I got in, and I was just like, I didn't expect to watch Temptation Island, and now I'm kind of in. Like,
yeah,
that's one of those shows. That's one of those shows where I could not be invested at all. I don't have to know who anyone is. I don't have to. I could just sit down and then like ask a question.
Well, it's like you're not the one that's starting the show. Like you would never start that show, but if it's on, you would watch it in the background, right? So
it's so absurd.
The Heartbreak Kid, dude.
Oh, all right. Well, again, that's a tough one to remember off the top of the head, but I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Okay, just in case you don't.
No.
Right?
I remember that one.
Remember this?
Yes. That's a good... Is that Helen Hunt in that one? Not Helen Hunt.
Michelle Monaghan.
Oh.
Michelle
no. Monaghan,
she's the new love interest. She's in White Lotus.
No, it's a blonde girl.
Yeah. Her.
That's it. Oh my God, that's her. That's not. Why did I say Helen Hunt? That's so off. But she's in so many things too.
She's in so many things, and so is the girl we just mentioned. Michelle Monaghan's in like a bunch of stuff too.
Everything.
So like but that's a good one, man. That's a really good one. Back. Eddie Cantro. Is it Cantro?
Throw that one back on. Look at that love. These are all from the
Eddie
classic
Cantro.
era.
Yeah.
Is this 2008, 2009?
Dude, 2007. Can you believe this, dude? We're talking almost 20 years ago now.
And
this was like Ben Stiller's like golden era, man.
We're old.
And then this was I think this was one where Along Came Polly was the one with Let It Rain.
Yeah, That was Philip Seymour Hoffman.
This one is Danny McBride as the brother of the chick. Yeah, that's right. Okay. All right.
We're probably forgetting Ben Stiller's best movie, and that's Tropic Thunder. Because Danny McBride. Dude, come on, Tropic Thunder is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen in my entire life. Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, I don't know, bro.
Oh man, it's so good. Jack Black tied to a tree, detoxing from heroin. That's amazing. That is too good.
Jesus. Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah. RDJ. But that's this is what we do when we're waiting for Midjourney version 7 to drop. We watch,
and you guys are waiting. You guys are waiting for us. You guys are waiting for us to talk about something.
We get excited.
But here's the reality, right? Like Midjourney V7, we all were wondering what we're going to see when it launches, and I think we were very excited because we haven't had a new version in over a year, so long overdue there. But like we also knew like some things were going to be there right when it launched, some things weren't. So we'll kind of like cover, the things that we know we're still missing that aren't quite on the site yet, because again, this is an alpha version, right? It's not meant for this whole thing to be shipped. Important to keep that in mind with the context of anything that we're going to talk about today. But you and I have both been extremely busy since midnight of last night, so we've had limited time to really explore. But we'll kind of like share some of the things that we've seen so far, some of the things that are missing, some of the things that we think are coming. And then we can also just kind of like really figure out like, man, how does this now work into the workflow with these other added tools too, right? Like, I mean, I've been using ChatGPT a lot since the last time we did our podcast, even a week ago. And I'm sure you have too. In fact, I know you have because I've seen posts from you too, but like that's still blowing my mind. Still, I mean, the thing there, though, it really does grind my gears that you can only do one image at a time.
And it's slow.
It's
worth it, but, it's just slow.
It reminds me of, like, being on Midjourney before I upgraded to the higher plans where I just had to run the relax mode all the time.
Yeah.
And so I, like, constantly have my mobile phone with me, do something, like send the prompt, put it down, come back, and then just, like, keep going back to it. Which just feels kind of nostalgic in a sense. Kind of feels like comparable to the fact like when you had dial-up internet and you had to wait for things to load or download, just like all that stuff. But anyway,
3 years ago is now nostalgic. Like in AI like speed reference that it is now. 3 years ago might as well be 10 years ago, 15 years ago, because it's so different. But yeah, this has been. I think I saw a lot of hate today. Going to be honest.
Did you?
Okay. Saw a lot of hate, and I could see why people would. Be upset. Personally, I think everyone's just super like quick on the trigger with a lot of this stuff. They're not exploring stuff, which is why I think typically Drew and I don't like the updates. I know I'm probably speaking on your behalf there, but I know we typically are just kind of like,
yep.
And then we get into it, and it's been like 3 or 4 weeks, and then it's like, all right, this is cool. We figured this out. Same way we were with mood boards, where it was like, all right, mood boards dropped, and then it was like 3 weeks later, we're still talking about mood boards because we're just figuring it out more.
I mean, I think when mood board dropped, we were just like, this is kind of like shit. We can't really figure this out. And and again, like, there's no clear pathway on any of this stuff. There's no black and white, right or wrong way to do anything.
Yeah.
Which then means that you can't make the assumption that you know exactly how to best use the tool right when you get it. And I think that's the case here. Look, I think we were just talking before we got on, but like we've both had limited time to run any images. I think I've run 3 images in total in terms of like 3 different prompts since this launched. It's just been a busy day. However, I did have a chance to play around with some of the new stuff. Like we've got draft mode. We'll kind of go over that. But maybe where we start too is before you start getting into that, rank some images.
Yeah.
Because you told me this morning before I had a chance to look at it. It's just like, hey, look, brand new rating system. Okay. So if you're going to run anything on V7, brand new personalization. You need to train it. You need to rank images. And so while I didn't run a ton of images before this podcast, what I did do is rank a ton of images. So I ranked 723 images so far. I'll probably continue to do that, to somewhere between 1 and 2,000 to feel good about it. And then, just kind of see how things go. The beauty of it, though, is, right, like we're not locked in to a personalization code anymore. So if I go through this after all those and I say, hey, look, it's still not where I want it to be. Okay, like what lessons did I learn with the ranking of the images this time around? Maybe we start there, Rory.
Yeah.
Ranking images, again, no clear pathway there. What's your approach to ranking images? I think we have similar but also different approaches there.
Yeah. So that was my big this morning when I got on. And I was like, I probably have like 2 hours to just like go wild and see what I can do. And if you guys want me to be honest, and my first impressions was like, this kind of sucks. Like I was just, number one, I always feel that way. But number two, typically I'm using, instead of like dreaming up my own prompts, I'm just using older stuff that I've liked before in the past to see how it looks like updated. Instead, I don't want to think, I just want to test.
Yep.
And the stuff that I was getting was not good. And I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, this is like, I'm having like a mild, I don't want to say like a mild sort of like disappointment in the first run. But I was like, come on. I was expecting at least like equal quality to V6. But that being said, typically these new models, they require new infrastructure, right? Like the prompting V5 different than V4, prompting V6 different than V5. So prompting V7 is going to be different than V6, right? So we have to sort of adapt to that. We'll probably
and we did know that. They did tell us coherence, coherence was going to be different. Prompting would be different.
But the one thing I noticed was when I looked at the actual update from Midjourney on their website is it said like first thing listed, this is the first model that would be default run personalization on. So to me, I was like, all right, personalization is pretty big. Let me go make sure my personalization codes are turned on. Then I realized I had to rank a whole new one. Like I had to rank for V7 because I did probably like 500 images in the in like the rating party or whatever you want to call it.
They didn't bring those over though?
I think they did.
I was going to say, I was going to say because they brought 1 or 200 over, I guess, from that like second or third phase, right? Because those were starting to be V7 images, whereas the first round in the rating party wasn't.
Yeah. So then I was like, well, I was just rating everything in that. I want to go and like sort of fine tune this now. So I generated about 4 images and I wasn't happy. And then I was like, let me go play with my P code, and I ranked probably 1,000 images in that sitting. I was just like, I have to get this thing good because I just don't want to deal with like the nonsense of it not being good.
Yeah.
Again, I'm very selective on my P code. Like I just checked my last one. I only had like 2,600 rankings on that, and that was something that I was just very selective on. It worked really well. So yeah, this one I'm like, to me, the images are so much better in the ranking this time that I don't have an issue as much like skipping through like 50 of them to find something that I like. So I did that, and just as soon as I turned my P code on, those images got better real quick.
Well, so let me dig into that a little bit more. When you're deciding what to rank and what not to rank, though, how are you deciding that? Is it purely I like this image? Is it, this is something I would prompt for? Is it something else? Like, what are you looking for specifically?
Part utility, part preference. So, like for my global profile, I do a lot more photorealistic than I do anything else. So I just want that, and I want good that. I don't want like just stock photo that. Like I'm looking for the stuff that I would be happy with. That if it came out of on my end, I'd be like, okay, I'd use that somewhere, or I like the way that looks. Instead of just like ranking everything, because then it's just I don't know how that affects it. But then typically I like stuff that's super dark, contrasty. We've gone over this a few times. Texture, whatever, great. So then I typically, because I want things that way majority of the time, I have to go create a second one to make it softer. So the second one is like I typically do one that's I'm just ranking like animation and super clean, like minimalistic aesthetics, and like that's it. And that one will give me my softer profile. So I'll have two, have like my really gritty one and my real soft one, and I can oftentimes mix them together, and it's really nice. So, you can utilize. Oh, there was I don't know if you've seen the mood boards or the personalization tab yet in the website. It's so much cleaner now and nicer. They
What do you mean?
gave
The
it a facelift.
Oh, with the mood boards.
I'll pull it up.
You talking about here? I got it.
You got it?
Yep. You talking about this?
Yeah. So they changed
okay.
it. So it's nice now. Like you don't. I remember there were like little tiny images. You didn't even know what your mood board was producing. I was like, I don't even remember what I named this. But is it weird that it kind of looks like your Notion page or our Notion page?
Bro, doesn't it? Oh my God.
Very odd.
Yo.
But this one, so if anyone's looking to, if you haven't ranked your V7 too, by the way, you have to go to personalize. It'll be there. You have to do the V7 one. Like V6.
That's right.
Just so everyone knows, the V6 codes work. Your personalizations work. It's just not as good. Like I was trying it with it and it's kind of screwing every image up. They were coming out super jacked up. So I think you're going to have to go and re-rank it. I know Drew, who's done 18,000. I said to him this morning, I'm like, dude, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but
18,000. There it is. Yeah. So you guys know I'm not making shit up.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Man,
but
that's insane.
Yeah. So like when you land here, I mean, obviously I've already been in here, but this is, I think, off. You turn this on and then this is blank. And then, you want to go right in here. I wouldn't even bother running anything until you've done the 200 to unlock it. Yeah. It's 200 to unlock it. But yeah, anyway, like, I actually hadn't noticed this because I didn't scroll down that far. So that's interesting with the mood boards.
It's nice.
I mean, it's nice. Like you don't have to scroll down as far. I don't know if it's like visually any cleaner for me. And these, man, I'm gonna pick this apart. Fuck. Right. Like more padding between these. Like this is all like too tight. This is all way too tight. And I'm on a big screen right now.
Get them.
Yeah, so like these all run together. You know what I mean? Like there's the skimmability is kind of tough. But anyway, so this is interesting, right? Like maybe you want to get into like this draft mode thing and talk about that a little bit because like now you've got this P here, right? So like maybe we'll start with
click on that. I was like, click on it just to show everyone now. That's where you turn it on or off, and then you can now. It's a little bit easier of a selection now to find it. You don't just have to like sort of hope and pray, and like go to the drop down tool and change it every single time, or go to the settings and change it.
This is interesting, and I think that's kind of cool. Also, one other thing I noticed just in my time playing with this too is you're not going to have access. You have to change this to 6.1 to access your global here. Which is cool. I mean, like, I get why they did it because, like, if you were to select that and then have V7 in there, it's going to break, right? You're just going to get a bunch of errors. So I get that. What else has changed up here? I mean, the default here, I think it's got mine set at 1, so I'm going to change that back. I was running 300 a lot on 6. I'll have to kind of see if that's still the case for me.
Way more powerful now. I think, like, this is my opinion on it. Like, I was running stuff that I was running at 800, 900 last week, and, like, that was way too much. And I think it's probably because of the personalization codes. Now might be a little stronger. Yeah. So keep that in mind. I had to drop. I was back down in the 200s and 300s again, like kind of how we were when V6 dropped. Remember how we were like V5 probably up at like 500, 600, 700, and then it was like dropped back down, and then started to get there as we went along. But it's been,
I wonder now you've played around with draft mode, right? So if you guys are just getting started with this, or if you haven't done it yet, the draft mode is a little bit of something that you need to kind of toy around with. I've only messed around with it for a few minutes. Sounds like you maybe messed around with it a little bit more. But, this was where, during the office hours and the prep in, we didn't really have an idea as to what draft mode was fully. All we were told, right, was that there was going to be 2 models that they were going to release. One was going to be fast, one was going to be slow. And maybe with the idea that the slower one's going to be higher quality, fast one's going to get you, just quicker results, quick and dirty. So that's what draft mode is the quick and dirty, but it allows you to iterate on it. And okay, I haven't used it on this screen yet. but this allows you to also use voice mode to prompt.
Which is crazy.
Also a gem that they didn't even bother talking about before, which is kind of like something we've been talking about for a while. You know, the exhaustion of just typing and typing, copy, pasting, also just a new experience to create back and forth in a conversational approach. Like we knew it was going to have to happen at some point. This feels like the first iteration of that. Have you played with that yet? Were you doing any of the voice stuff yet?
I haven't, but is this, hold on, we have to check this now. Is available on mobile? Because this to me changes the entire mobile experience because I'm not typing with my 2 fingers. Some of these prompts,
great call, dude. Great call. Check that on mobile.
Let's see.
And
because that to me changes the whole like outlook of mobile. I just ignored it because I'm like, I'm not typing all these parameters. It's so hard to maneuver on there when you start getting into like, oh, let me remix, let me add a style, let me like whatever. It's so much easier to be at your desktop or the laptop and do it. But
yeah.
Let's see if we have create.
Yeah, and like draft mode, guys, and just so you know, draft mode is not going to give you great results right away, especially during old prompts. So like the first thing I went to in my limited time is like, let me take a handful of prompts I've run in the past. What does it say?
There we go. Allow Midjourney to use your microphone.
Wow.
So it's right. If everyone can see this down in the bottom left corner, this little microphone right there. I guess
that's crazy. So
right.
So I actually wouldn't have expected them to have that ready.
Yeah.
But they do. Interesting. So now we're talking about a new experience altogether because, you know, they hadn't touched mobile in a while.
No. And like I've rarely used it. Only when I think like the only times I've ever used it is when I'm like cuddling Faye to sleep. Like, and she's like sleeping on me, and I'm like,
bro, honestly, if you were to take a split of the prompts I've run, I would say I've done probably 40% on mobile.
Really?
Yeah.
How? Are you just hitting like rerun and remix?
Well, because like there's been a lot of times where in this addictive Midjourney phase, I've been in the car, I've been around kids, or the kids are sleeping in the car, and I've just got my mobile, or I'm waiting in line and I'm trying to generate something. Like,
right.
Dude. So yeah, I mean, like that's pretty wild. And then you and I were just talking about something that was interesting before we started recording, but you brought up like, yeah, I mean, do they integrate, you know, OpenAI, ChatGPT into this functionality? Because how are you going to be able to do that? And it seems like so quickly.
Yeah.
Only because they never mentioned anything about that. You know what I mean?
Well,
so I have no idea if that was like a long plan or something that we kind of got toward the end of, hey, we're getting close to V7. This would be a great idea. Can we pull it off? Okay, well, now we got it.
Yeah. And it was kind of like a flip. I don't know if David was kind of like, we don't want it like the having like the chat function is kind of, I don't want to say it's like cheap or like a cheap trick or something along those lines. You know, I'm probably butchering what he said, but it kind of felt like, oh, we flipped and now we have sort of like a chat feature. And if you use it, you can use it that way because it's interactive. It's not like you have to type a prompt in every time. So, you know, you can start on this draft mode and be like, basically, you know, car, enter, and then it's like turn the car to the right, enter. You don't have to write like the car facing right. You just keep kind of like stream of consciousness going with it. Sort of like in, if anyone's using Luma, like in their Dream or whatever it's called, their
Dreamweaver or something.
Dreamweaver, yeah, something like that, where it's like sort of stream of consciousness. Same thing with Leonardo has something very similar, but it's what does that say? Version 7 in draft mode.
Yeah, because I have draft mode, I think, on. Do I? What does this say? Why does it say that?
I don't know.
Interesting.
But this is all just style raw work.
Yeah, style raw works. Okay, so here's what I was going to do, just kind of messing around while we were on here. I was going to run this as, Here, let me take this outside of this. Let's see if it's still kind of giving me that. Wonder why it's saying that right now.
I don't know.
Anyway, but you brought up a really interesting point before we got in to the studio, which was, you know, like I kind of forgot about that when I just brought that up, but it was like, okay, you can run in relax, and you were saying that you're getting better results in relax. So kind of going back to that point that I was talking about, that slower than the fast version, I was thinking that was going to be in this sort of like version of standard in draft. That was my expectation of the slow and the fast, and that's why I got mixed up early on. But what you're saying is if you run in relax, like you're going to get different results than turbo, because everything right now is defaulting to turbo if it's in fast.
Yeah.
Which is just going to eat up more hours. But anyway, maybe we run that as a test here, you know?
Let me just, for what I've noticed so far, probably about I don't know, maybe I've run like 300-400 images on this. But what I've noticed is that if you are running in relax and you have a longer prompt that requires more coherence, relax is working much better than turbo is there. So if anyone's familiar with the video models, typically how they work too, there's like the full powerful model that might take like 2 or 3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes to generate a video, and it'll be really good. Like Kling is this way, but also Runway has a turbo. Gen 3 had a turbo model, and like their alpha model. Their alpha model would be a lot better quality than their turbo model in most cases, because it's just, you want it fast, you're just going to sacrifice some quality. So that's sort of how I'm seeing it. The turbo mode has been great quality-wise. Coherence-wise, to me, it hasn't been as sticky as the relax mode has been. So that's just something to take note of. Relax is still pretty fast to me. It doesn't feel that slow.
I think they did. If maybe I'm just imagining, but I thought that I remember them mentioning that relax was just going to be by default just a little bit faster now. I don't know.
Yeah.
By the way, I tried to run permutations in relax mode, and it looks like that's gone now.
What? Hold on.
Maybe that had to do with the relaxathon. Maybe that's why we were getting it.
Is it because you're in draft mode? Is that why you can't run permutations? Try that.
Oh, I did do this in draft mode. Isn't that weird though, that once I'm out of here, this is gone, and then I can't. Well, remember, because I didn't have this option. You remember just a second ago?
I wonder if it's because it was on in your create page. These are all things that we're finding little bugs here as we go.
And then let's do relax. So let's make sure these are. Yep. No, can't do those. Can't do permutations in relax.
But can you do it in turbo?
You can do it in turbo. Yep.
All right. Good to know.
But
I rarely use relax. But when I was using it during the relaxathon, it was doing permutations. I don't know. Maybe that's just this new thing.
Okay, so let's kind of go in here. So I guess maybe this is good then, because we did do. I guess these are in draft mode then.
Yeah.
Damn. I mean, these feel real. You know what I mean? This looks like a photo shoot, raw photo, draft mode. So if this is draft mode,
let's zoom in on this and check out the fine details here, because I think there's a lot. I mean, like the skin. There's a few images I got where I'm seeing skin pores on the arm that are in the midground, not even in the foreground. I'm like, that's impressive. So look at this detailing is so impressive.
It is good. It is good.
And it's not even upscaled. That's draft mode. Right? Like, see the pores on the neck here, and like the goosebumps and the texture on the real quick. Go back. Look at her collar. The fine grain on the stitching on her shirt collar, like that's impressive. The symmetrical features are so much less than they used to be now, which is great.
The fall off. Look at the fall off between the focus, and then you could still see the underlying texture even with the fall off, that's the real shit.
Yeah. Look at the lips. I mean, and the skin pores and everything there. It's great.
Random moles.
Yep. Everyone giving it so much heat for some reason. I think they probably just didn't, give it the right shot, because there's some insane stuff, man, that I've had come out of it, and I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah. So now let's go back and let's kind of look at this in terms of the stylization we put behind that, because I ran different levels here too. So 150, and we can kind of look at these from afar, but those are the ones that we were looking at with 150, bro.
Yeah. So I'm saying, I think it's way more powerful, the stylization.
So now, and then we got into 3, so we can just kind of look at these, still really, really good texture with still feeling real. Here we get into 450.
Nice.
Here we're getting into 700. Dang. Like that's a face you would have never gotten.
Never.
In V6.
Too hard.
without prompting for it. Like, you know, unless you remember, we had a lot of those episodes where we were talking about the mechanics, where you would almost have to like mechanically describe what's happening, you know, with things like facial features. And this, I think the only thing in here is enigmatic facial expression, right? So that's it.
Pretty good. This was on draft and relax or draft and turbo.
So I think this was.
I don't even know if it makes a difference, but
I wish if it was draft, it said it right here.
yeah.
But I'm pretty sure draft was on for these, and this was the relaxed version, I believe.
So relax to me has been better.
Now we're getting into turbo, and then maybe like just for reference, let's do the same thing, right? Like let's get in here, let's get all up in here,
Yeah.
and I mean, still amazing texture. That was something that they really started to like talk about quite a bit toward the end on the office hours too. Of like, you might be surprised how the texture is. I remember that was kind of. Don't you remember that kind of being like the difference between 6.1 and 6.2?
Yeah,
like the texture component,
big time. And that was also when they brought in Q2 and the texture got better.
That's
I'm like
right.
I'm like a texture addict. Like I want like all the textures. Because that was the biggest annoyance for me, was getting those like plastic doll looking people.
Yeah, me too.
On. Now this just looks like, that's excellent. Like that, even though like the teeth are a little bit.
I was gonna say,
oh, the teeth are screwed up. It's like, well, that makes it look real.
Dude, the perfection of the models lie in the imperfections.
Yeah, and this even this, I mean, like just some of the subtle bumps on the skin.
These are great.
Sick.
Damn, these are. If this is draft mode, well, this is actually the first prompt I've run that's worked really, really well.
Because typically when you do draft mode, it says draft next to it.
Does it?
Yeah. So those are relaxed, but I think the good thing to notice that a lot of them are relaxed and turbo. Maybe this prompt is just perfect for Midjourney version 7, but like the relaxed stuff works really well. So don't like stray away from it because you think it's slow. Like it's just quality.
Damn, I like these. Some really good facial expressions in here. I mean, really angles, good ones.
Not looking directly at the camera. Or did you prompt for head position on this or no?
I think so. Mouth slightly opened. So we talked about that. Talked about enigmatic facial expression. No, that's it, right? Like, well, playful and dynamic perspective with exaggerated facial features and engaging, curious expression. So I take that back. Yes.
All right.
But that did some shit.
Yeah, I like it.
So I'm digging that. Okay, so these are the ones that didn't run because can't use permutations slow. And then, so maybe we run a draft mode too here, because this is basically the same thing then. Let's take this. Well, I guess we could do two things, right?
Yeah, run the draft. And then...
maybe I'll just run those two. But then also, right, like the thing with this draft mode is you can just create the prompt right in here. You can start from scratch here, right? So if we just go here... I can just start this voice mode.
Now let's hold on. I was gonna say, before we get into that too. Just click into some of these images so you can see the difference between draft mode and like.
No, dude, because look though, you saw that I had draft on, right?
Yeah.
And now, let me click in here, but it's not showing up here. Is draft? Let me
see up top. If you click back into it up top, right, instead of saying like prompt, it says draft. So like click into one of the draft images. See there, but also like if you like expand one of those images, the draft ones, it says up at the top draft, like right where it says prompt.
But you know what? This wasn't here until I clicked this though.
That's what I mean. It has to be to be in draft mode. You have to click draft mode. But now you could also say like, or if you click on this, right? If you click on one of these, click in, you'll see that it's just lesser quality than. It's like using 6.1 instead of 7, right?
But still with texture.
Still good.
Yeah.
But not as defined. But you can. This is the cool thing, though.
It's like less contrasty. It's almost like flat. It's almost like a raw image to me.
Yeah.
Some ways, but it's still got some color grading in here too. Like what I really caught me off guard, like going back to because the one I had run before that was really just. like this one. Like this was like a prompt I'd run for a while around like macro shots, and I would basically just like interchange certain things. And like these were like, yo, what is this crap? Because like in a previous version, that same thing would generate fire, right? So like
Yeah.
let me just take this. I'll give you a perfect example here. Let's just go here. Like this was this V6?
Attaches a style reference.
Yeah, and that was like a one I had done previously. But like I've been running that one kind of like through models too. But anyway, I was just like, yo, what the hell is this shit? So like I got some of those too, which kind of left my head scratching. I did like just this one, and then like even these Spider-Man ones, I think I ran these in draft, and I was like, just like so washed out,
Yeah.
Even though like this has like really good potential, it's like it's washed out.
Might be a style
So
raw. Did you run with that style raw?
That's a good question. I don't know. Like that's where that's where it's like, guys, it's too soon to make any sort of conclusion, right?
Yeah.
Like on anything, because even just you and I were talking, right? We were just talking about several different things here. Let's take this off. Let's go in here. You've got standard version. You've got draft version. You've got fast. You've got turbo. It's 4 variations right there. Okay. Then you've got your profile code, right? Which is brand new. You can create another one. You can create another one. You can add more. You've also got all the variables of now how stylized reacts now.
Yeah.
Right? So stylized probably acts differently because, again, going back to like the origin of stylization is based on how much it's taking from your prompt concretely and applying it versus like creative interpretation into whatever that default model is. So I guess if it's personalization, the thought is the higher the stylized, the more your personalization influences that. I find that somewhat to be true, but what I do know to be true is when we didn't have personalization, yeah, the higher you would run it, the more it would look like Midjourney's default model and start to kind of like veer off course coherently too. So I think like you add in that element of the stylization, all those variable stops within there, you've got a lot to play with here before you even can make any sort of conclusion. And that's just with one prompt, right? Like to really have an idea, a referring idea or conclusion about anything, you have to run different things. Like you can't make that conclusion from one thing. Because even just now running this, I feel a lot more optimistic than I did 3 hours ago when I had like 20 minutes and I ran something, you know what I mean? And it's just kind of like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
But like, give it some time. There's a lot to unpack here. And also a lot of it's still coming, right? And Rory, I mean, like we were talking about, what are the things that are missing so far? You and I talked about them offline, but let's sort of like put those on paper for the listeners here.
That are still to come or that have already been released?
That are still to come, like that you can't use right now with V7. So we were talking about quality, for example. Quality's not there yet.
Isn't there yet. Remix, can't use remix yet. Upscale, they're using the V6 upscalers. Apparently they're going to update those. So you can tell sometimes because the creative upscaler and the subtle upscaler, sometimes like it doesn't look as good as it used to. Like I came to sort of like the upscalers out of nowhere. I don't know what happened.
Yeah,
like in V6, I was kind of like, oh, they're doing decent. But what was the other thing? The pan, zoom, edit, those all still work. So the one thing,
let's run them real quick.
Yeah, run it.
Yeah, you got all this. I think you were saying so. Remix doesn't work yet.
Remix doesn't work.
You said pan and zoom do though. We were testing that, right?
Yeah. But you can use draft mode as almost a remix. We should probably do that too. We'll run that.
You can use draft mode as remix?
Yeah. In a way, right?
Okay.
Once these are done running, we'll do it. I think because I was playing with this before and it was kind of interesting. Like it's a very different way to prompt on Midjourney than has been available before in the past. So
should we run something on draft mode using voice just to show people what to expect here?
Totally.
What should we prompt?
Car.
Okay, here we go. Let's see. Let's do a cinematic shot of a wild raccoon with sunglasses riding a skateboard in a neighborhood. The background is out of focus. Oh, look at it going. So it's going while I'm doing it? I thought it was waiting till I finished.
It keeps going.
No shit. Look at this.
Pretty sure.
Okay, so instead of a selfie shot, let's do a landscape wide angle shot of the raccoon.
Yeah. It's cool.
Okay, so it's still got that. All right, let's end this so we can just kind of analyze what it put in here too.
Yeah.
So you heard what I said. Wild raccoon wearing stylish sunglasses, riding a skateboard, landscape wild angle shot. Yeah. Neighborhood background, bokeh effect, vibrant colors, motion blur, playful and rebellious atmosphere. Like playful and rebellious atmosphere is kind of what I was going for, and I didn't say that. That's kind of like a nice interpretation. So that's interesting. Damn, that one's kind of cool.
So here's what's interesting. As you're in giraffe mode, take that prompt out of there. Like delete the prompt.
Okay,
from the prompt bar. No,
Okay.
from the actual prompt bar. And then I'm pretty sure if you say make it red sunglasses, just do make it red sunglasses. It'll keep this sort of, you don't have to use the voice mode. You can just type it in too.
Oh.
I think just make the sunglasses red or whatever.
Let's do yellow just to make sure we're getting it.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, okay. So I was in the actual photo that I wanted, but I'm wondering if it's taking that grid. Or is it taking the grid
kind of
of
like
the seed
remix.
here?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So they are net new images. It's not like an in-paint draft edit. It's a
Kind of like remix.
Yeah,
right?
you're right. Yeah. It's like
It's
a voice
kind of like
remix.
remix without having to write everything over, or not having to use the whole prompt again. So I mean, like if you said just black, let's make it black and white. It's like talking to ChatGPT now, right? Like it can't do text. But
let's make the sunglasses black and the raccoon wearing a black leather jacket with a gold chain necklace. Although I misspelled it, but it fixed it for me. Look at that.
nice. So the other thing you can do here too is if you hover over to the right side of the screen, like if you hit there down on the bottom, it'll say enhance. It has
yes.
a
Oh, I'm
little
so glad
enhance
you brought
button.
that up. Yes.
Yeah.
So that's
I don't know
only
what-
available in draft mode as well,
Yeah.
right? Because it's trying to. What do we think this is trying to do? Is it like it's not? Because when I saw this, I was almost thinking of the AI video gen tools where you hit enhance and I think it sort of like takes its model into consideration and kind of like jazzes up what it thinks you're trying to prompt for.
Mm-hmm.
Let's click this and see what we get. And I'm wondering, does that change the prompt at all? No, it doesn't. So it's keeping that. You're not seeing anything different. I wonder what it's operating off of in that sense.
Is the prompt exactly the same?
That's what I'm saying. It's the exact same thing.
Oh, I'm pretty sure enhance is like to make it the full V7 model. I think it goes from like draft to like full V7.
So we're thinking like draft is what is draft? Like what is
like a
that
workspace.
its own? Yeah, is it its own version in a sense?
Yeah, it's like a quick version to like get through iterations to maybe get to something, so you don't waste all of your. It's actually like a nice. I mean, if you're going to get to something pretty quick, and then you just want to instead of like using Turbo for the 2x the cost, which is probably fairly expensive. I'm sure my hours are going to be much lower after today when I look at them, but
Yeah.
like you can see the difference in like the texture once you get up. You look at this one, and it's like if you click into the bottom right one. Like the fine grain hair on the top of his head too, and even on his snout, like there's so many little hairs.
Yeah.
So it's like my favorite thing ever.
Yeah, let's go in. Let's go in here. I'm going to turn this off for a second. There was the one. So here's the upscaler to your point, like checking out, the difference here.
There's a big
Also,
difference.
I'm also curious, like this one. I mean, usually with creative and faces, it kind of gets rid of too much of the texture.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of did in the out of focus spots, but it did really keep these cheeks in terms of like raw texture in here.
Mm-hmm.
But, again, this looks like you took like a Photoshop kind of like Gaussian blur or something like that here versus here. It's just less sharp.
Yep. But I think that's where, I don't even know if you needed to upscale that one you had of the original. Like that would also be to me. You could also, this is where I was playing around with Magnific to see how it would translate in Magnific because sometimes if anyone hasn't played around with Magnific, too much texture and then putting it into Magnific can be like overdue.
Yeah. It's brutal. Because then you got to like, how much HDR and fractality do I need to take down here?
Yeah. It's like a -3, -4. It's like way too much. So
that's right.
Just for anyone, a tip for anyone who's using, Magnific on the side here.
Same thing here too, right? Creative and subtle. So subtle, creative, subtle, creative. Yeah. Anyway.
I would love to see
interesting.
I don't know why this just reminded me of that video of the dude that was drinking the what was it? The guy that went like mega viral. He had like the neck tattoo. He was drinking like cranberry juice on the skateboard.
God, no, I can't think. Oh my God, dude.
I'm
having like a
Stevie
total
Nicks.
brain. Yeah, but the band though.
Fleetwood Mac.
Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah,
oh my God. Like, Jesus. Yeah. That dude made it out of that. He got like so much out of that.
You couldn't write like a college course on authenticity and like not show that video. That was all vibes. No staging, no planning.
Yeah.
Like you can't fake that. It was too good.
Oh my God.
Too in the moment. That dude was just living. We were all jealous.
What else here like with Midjourney stuff? Like this is going to be Midjourney V7 is going to be what we're talking about here for the next couple of weeks because there's going to be new stuff added, new changes that are happening, new things that we're going to unlock along the way. We're literally not even 24 hours in. Is there anything else that we need to talk about today with this? Because like I'm also thinking, man, we've been doing a lot of cool stuff with the ChatGPT stuff as well, you know, and there's like been a lot of real interesting use cases even since the last time we talked. So I mean, like, I don't know. Is there anything else here?
I think a lot of people are going to start to probably use these two together. Because I was even like putting some of the Midjourney version 7 stuff into ChatGPT and being like, replicate this, and it like couldn't do it. Like some of the visual, like super visual, like ChatGPT is going to nail certain things. But like, I'll share some of these that I did earlier today.
Yeah.
Just so we can see a little bit more of like, what Midjourney promised, right? And I think there's some good stuff in here from like they promised like detailing, right? These aren't in Magnific. This is just straight up out of the Midjourney upscaler. Like some of the detailing here is insane. Like super crazy textures, like intricate. The papers on the desk.
Yeah.
The wires, like even some
not as many artifacts, right?
I mean, the computer actually isn't that bad for where that would normally be miserable, right? Like
it'd be a mess. Be a
super
hot mess.
close in, it looks like crap, but from far away, that looks like my desktop with all the files everywhere.
Right.
Simple things like this one, I was digging it. Like this, getting the pants, getting the shirt, getting the pattern on here. Like, look at the detail in the plants back here too, in the background. Just like the wispiness of the smoke. Like some people might say this is like looks plastic. I think it looks great, considering like the texture in the headband. Like the same stuff here, but this one is what blew my mind when I did it first thing this morning. I was like, wait, hold on. We're getting texture, and then we're getting depth. Like this goes all
layers,
yeah. But even the textures up here, loved it. Same thing here, like smush face, but also not smush person. Like that's a structure of a person perfectly with this. Loving this stuff, man. I was really digging.
I like, dude, that one right there. The black and white one is insane.
Yeah, I was vibing with that this morning.
That's insane. Love that one.
Loving it. Was really these guys were. I was like, okay, like this one in specific, where it got like the reflection down.
Oh yeah.
Like I was like, yo, come on with the X of smoke basically in the screen. But yeah, these are just, of course, I sweat this stuff. I don't even know how it conceptualizes something like this with the depth. But regardless, I thought this one was pretty funny too. Like from a realism standpoint, they got this one on his whatever this, I don't even know what kind of bike that is, but there's some crazy stuff. And I think the two things that I'm noticing here specifically are these intricate details that you can not get with any other model. Someone please challenge me on this. I'm not really seeing it anywhere. I've tried it a million times. Try to run this image in any other image generator without using stuff like this as an image prompt and tell me if you can get the level of detail and intricacy that's in here. I'm not saying everyone needs this. I just don't know where you can get it. And if someone has an answer,
it's a great point.
Tell me.
Yep.
Because like it's good. And then even like down to the textures on the onto the skull, and like the way things are placed here. This is basically at an angle, and everything is here dimensionally correct. Like that is this one got me. I was like, the scale, the intricacy.
Yeah, that's dope, man.
So,
that's dope. Oh, you know what? Hey, one other note we didn't bring up. No character consistency on V7 yet.
Not yet.
So if you guys are looking for it, it ain't there yet.
It ain't there yet.
Just looking in the notes too. Roadmap. Expect new features every week or two for the next 60 days, right? So for the next 2 months, the biggest incoming feature will be character and object reference, right? So yeah, it's not here. So if you're looking for it, it's not there. Rory, I don't know. You saw like some little thumbnail the other day out of nowhere.
I don't know. That was
little
a weird
guy.
one. I was like, it's like, did I get a special treatment?
And I was
for,
like,
for
yo, is
right
that
now?
it? Yeah. Maybe you got that treatment with the multiple mood boards that I got for like 2 days before they turned that off.
That's right. I forgot you got that. Yeah, you did have you had a
I
special
don't know
power.
where that came from. That was wild. But
let's just say this. I'm happy they got something out. Let us play with it.
Ship.
Let us figure it out. To me, there's already so much here to play with. Like, if you had just released this model, or just the model, and then draft mode, and then relax mode, or turbo mode, like,
that's a great point.
I think, like, I heard David say it on Office Hours the other day, and like, I love this thought process. Like, you don't want to ship something unless you think it's full and perfect and great. We're used to getting piecemeal now from you guys, from everyone else. Like, it's not the end of the world. We just want to play with it, and look, we'll still like it. We'll still figure it out. If I had to learn like Omni reference right now, and probably like the 5 other,
it'd be
things
overwhelming.
It's too much. It's the same thing. Like, I always go back to Sora's launch. Like, if Sora just launched text to video, and that's it. Everyone could have got on board and then went image to video, and then like add some other stuff. Instead, they launch this whole suite, and everyone's like, "What the hell do I do with this thing?" And it's like, it's too much. Like,
It's a really undervalued thought, because
Yeah.
that's kind of where we're at right now with all these tools and all these options. You know, like your one shining moment literally lasts 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you need to create more shining moments. And I'm not saying it necessarily has to be like a weekly thing, but you're absolutely right. Like, it also has to do with understanding how to use the tool fully, because if you give us 5 things and it's a different way of operating from the way we've been operating, it's going to take us a while to figure that out. Why not add this, tier this out, add the level of excitement. That's where one thing that Midjourney just, it's not like the others where they're dripping things out consistently. And I think that's the one knock on them. I would say that they could do a better job of, and I think they've realized that hopefully now. But, just the little updates, man. The little updates. Remember when, mood boards and style tuner and,
style
like,
reference run was the best, because it was like you got style reference, and then you got multiple style references, then you got style weight, and then you got the style versions, then we got style codes, and then we got multiple style codes. It was like that run there where it was just something new like every other week, and it was awesome because it was all relevant, and we were all just like, this is sick, because it kept getting better.
Yeah.
It kept getting more infinite. And then it was a character reference. Then it was, all this other stuff. So it doesn't need to. I don't know if these tools understand that like people are so inundated with so many other things right now.
That's
tools. Right. It's like one thing at a time. Like get the hype cycle, which I know they don't care about, but get it. Let us learn it. Next thing, like it's like you have to like keep feeding us like we're addicted. It's like we're heroin addicts.
We are this is exactly why I'm not crushed about character consistency not being there yet. Because like let me figure out the draft mode stuff and when I'm going to use that, and let me figure out like my personalization. Let me run through some prompts. Let me figure out the coherence a little bit. I can wait a week or two. You know what I mean? I'd probably wait 3 weeks. Just enough time to start generating and getting comfortable in here because enough has changed, right? And so, play with these things. What about like ChatGPT, man? Like, what are you using it between now and the last time we talked? Because, I mean, we were, like one of the cool unlocks that we talked through last time and you were showing was really like the visualization of providing like, some elements of a wireframe, right? To teach it. And I think like one of the other things we unlocked was it's, insert number here, X, more powerful to provide some sort of reference image than to describe it with text. So whenever you have the option to add some sort of reference image to anything that you're doing in there, it works a lot better.
Yeah.
So it's just one other important thing to keep in mind. But there's so many cool things you can do in there, man. There's so many cool things.
I did. I'll see if I can pull this up here. Let me find it. I did something for anyone that is in the media buying, performance marketing, email marketing space. This one the other day got me like so excited. I don't know why, it's so dumb, but it was basically I was just making GIFs that I didn't know I could do in ChatGPT, but it really.
I think you told me that. Like I haven't even done that yet.
So yeah, I was taking like a base image. I used one from Reeve because I just thought it was simple and looked just like ChatGPT's aesthetic. And all I wanted to do was create like an ad where it's like, all right, I'll just find some review on their website. What does it say? Stylish, affordable, fast delivery. I'm like, great, that's like the whole value prop. I'll just throw that in there as a as like the quote for the ad. But I was like, oh, how do I get him to just open his mouth? That's where these like simple things, right? But if I just go from like single image to open mouth, it's kind of boring. So I was like, let's zoom it in 0.5x. Let's zoom it in 0.5x. Let's zoom it in 0.5x. So each iteration was like zoom in by 0.5x, open the mouth by 50%. So it was like all kind of scalable. So that it would like
okay. So you did that. You're talking about you did that in ChatGPT though, right?
Yeah. So I started with this image, right? Then I was like basically put this, increase this by 0.25x the size, and then open the mouth by 50%, right? So that you get something like that. And then I just kept going with that same prompt to get it from like here to here to here to here, which I wanted it to be that way because I wanted the face to look like it was like someone was like zooming in on the face as I was getting more excited. You could just do, and the thing here is like this doesn't have to be like the one example. This is just like so scalable. Like this could be someone with, you could just flip the sunglasses here to just change the color. So then it's just like sunglass color, sunglass color, sunglass color, sunglass color, or it could be the facial expressions, or it could be the outfit, or it can be whatever. So, once they're all sort of layered in there, I put the text in and then just like, can you make a fast-paced looping GIF? And let's make this 0.35 seconds per image. And then bang. And I was like, that's so simple. But for anyone in my space, comes from my space, the GIF is just another added extension of what you're already doing. It's not like the end-all be-all. It's just another asset to test. Works great in email. Works great in SMS. If anyone even does SMS anymore, I feel like that's fell off the zeitgeist. But like, to me, this used to be something that I have to put. If I could never get this guy, if I didn't have the photos of him in a different, like I would have to like doctor something or Photoshop his mouth or his whole face to get this. So the fact that I can just ask it for it, it's like idea to execution in less than 10 minutes. Seems so simple. People just like, they probably, dude, this is so stupid. I'm like, well, this is things that would have saved me like hours back when I was doing it. So that one, I don't remember if I talked about the other one last time, the structuring. Like this
Which
thing?
one? Well, I don't know that we saw that one. We saw right. We did the melon hat, and I think
Yeah.
it's you kind of built on that with this, right? So
This one was more complex in terms of what it needed to do, but this one was like a stress test. I'm just like, here's some random ass like collage, fit it, and it was like, okay, it was like, bet.
and then you did those images in ChatGPT.
No, I just gave it this and said fill it with I said fill it with the 4 images: top down shot, extreme close up of the car.
But you prompted in GPT.
Yes, I gave it this structure, gave it this whole prompt. Like,
See,
here's the 4 images, and then here's the aesthetic that I want.
But
And
I
it was
wouldn't
like,
have
okay.
thought ChatGPT would have nailed the cinematic coloring like that.
Well, I gave it to it. I asked it to. I gave it very specific.
Well, I see that, but
It did.
whew, those
It
are
nailed it.
heaters.
Dude,
So I mean,
come on.
I think that's even another area of discovery, right? Like just prompting straight up in ChatGPT for images. I mean, I think people have done it in isolated ad hoc fashions as a part of something like this, right? Where it's like a part of a project per se.
Mm-hmm.
But like the photorealism stuff, I mean, the
good.
structure of the prompts that we used in Midjourney for V6 seemed to work kind of well in there. I mean, based on that image, that's kind of what you did there.
It doesn't need a structure, which is great. You can kind of just talk to it. So it's like, or you just list details and it just sort of picks it up because it's already. That's the benefit of working with it, is it's intuitive. Because then I was talking to throwback to another guest here. I was talking to Phil Maggs on Wednesday or yesterday actually, and I was like, dude, we can take this and throw this. We can take and extract the code, right? Like we can extract the code from this. This is great because we can do, then go edit it in another platform, whether that be, in Cursor or, taking it into, because we were then talking about like variation. Like, could we create, like MCP style stuff where we're just, we have the code now, and then we're telling the MCP, the MCP to Figma now, what you can do. If anyone's not familiar with MCP, I don't even know what the hell it stands for. I just know that it's basically like Claude controlling some other program, and everyone's probably like, this dude should not be talking on a podcast right now. But I get excited. Apparently, this came into the zeitgeist like 3 weeks ago,
Bro.
But
Zeitgeist came into the zeitgeist.
I've been
This guy's
using it a
dropping
lot
zeitgeist a lot
because it
lately.
feels like that's what it is now.
Yeah.
that's I'm trying to, I got to get my SAT word in of the episode.
You do, but I'm just ashamed it's the same one from last week, though.
Did I use it last week?
Oh yeah,
Fuck.
100%.
Sorry.
100%.
I'll do better. Be better.
Do better next time. New word next time.
What have you been doing on here?
Well, I did some cool. I would say this, like nothing complex, right? Like I'm not out here making commercials or movies, guys. I'm just not. I don't have the time right now. But just taking a Midjourney image, putting it in a Runway V4. So I played with Gen 4, and
Another update.
Rory's got like a banger of a custom GPT he built with VO in mind, and basically just kind of like drop this image in and explained a few things like, look, I just want this girl just kind of like doing variable poses, and it was pretty simple. I can't remember what I put in. That was it. And then GPT turned it into a nice little prompt for me. Threw that in a Runway Gen 4. Got some bangers right out of the gate. For whatever reason, I kept wanting to take these glasses off every time, even though I wasn't prompting it. The only thing I was like, can she just leave the glasses on? I'm cool with that. So that was kind of fun. I came back to like an image I did a while ago. Again, did the same thing. Finally, animated it, right? Just kind of took it into Gen 4. Played with it.
I love this laugh, by the way. So good.
Yeah, just then taking a CapCut, find a nice little sound effect, be done. So I'm not doing anything complicated, but it's really fun to bring some of this stuff to life. There's your cool
fun.
thing there.
That was dumb. I was just like, I'm going to put a Netflix overlay on one of my videos so it looks, try to trick people into thinking it's more official than it is. But
yeah.
That's sick, by the way.
So this was just like an image in Midjourney, but you could do. I mean, this could very well be ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And then I haven't really been playing with Kling that much, but people just keep talking about it.
It's good.
So I just went in there and was just kind of like did something really quick just to try it out. So I did like some stuff like that. This was kind of like the thing that I probably spent the most time on was like thinking about custom 3D icons, because I found like this cool style that I created, and I was like, I like this. Now, like, let me just build a whole library. And so then it went into ChatGPT, and I was like, okay, with my brand in mind, so thinking about Goldcast, like, let's think about our products. Let's think about this and that and the other. And then I also want these to be like funny, right? So like I started coming up with like really interesting ideas. Like this
I
was like
that
a
brain.
Okay, yeah, like, I'll show you that one. But like this is like, you know, a transcript flexing its muscles, you know, and I'm like, yeah, this is dope, right? Like
Makes it so much more real. Like not
you know,
as like
this is fine. Yeah, like this is the fine, you know, this is fine guy.
I like that.
Drinking a coffee, you know. So like, you know, just fun stuff, dude. I think this pretty simple one. I think this one's just rotating. Yeah, it was just rotating. But you know, like just unique icons, right? Because everybody uses the same icons. You know, so you're thinking about like, how do you be different? How do you add personality to a brand? I mean, it's like, dude, we have the ability to do any of this shit now. You start with one single image, and you know, again, like this isn't anything I don't think that crazy, guys, but just in case like you're wondering how does that happen, right? All you have to do is basically find one thing, right? You've done it once. Okay. Then I want you to take this exact style, right? I want you to take this exact style, and then I want you to apply it. Well, hold on. Let me scroll down a little bit. In this exact style, when the orange is present, you know, I wanted to make sure it was on brand, right? So I got that. Okay. And then I just kind of kept providing the same, you know, image or a new image around each time. Also got my font right. So I ended up changing this one later to a different font style.
Did you give it an actual font name?
Yes.
Damn.
Let me find it.
I was going to play with that because I was playing with typography the other day. I probably should post about that, I guess, at some point, which was sick. It's basically creating fonts for me.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I want to hear about that. I want to hear about that. Okay, so let me find the one where I actually started getting the...
But it's keeping the two-tone gray. Are you giving it the gray Pantones or just like it's keeping that two-tone gray?
I didn't,
Okay.
but I did notice that they started to get warmer and warmer in the background.
I see it.
And then I started like prompting for that to like, hey, could you stop doing that? And it kind of worked, but kind of didn't. So like that's where it's just like you just got to get in here and start messing with this stuff.
Did you use a Midjourney base image for this to give it like a style example, or did you just prompt that?
No, I think I created the first one in here.
Okay.
Here's the font, right? And so here's what I was doing, right? All I was doing is I was using the same template word for word each chat.
Yeah.
Icon of a blank in, you know, if there was a font, which ours, you know, Goldcast is owner's trial X narrow, all caps and bold. Did that. And then I would just say in this exact style attach image where orange is present, make sure it's orange hex code that we use. I want it in a 1x1, you know? And then there, when it was like, okay, I didn't want that one in white, right?
There you go.
But yeah, like it was nailing the font, right? Like, so then I got the font and I was like, okay, this is dope. Cause then I started kind of like really going into this, and this is where it's like, you're starting to create like assets that no one else has.
Oh, that looks very DC Bruck right there.
This one?
I could see the logo down on the bottom.
Yeah. You know, like, but just having fun, dude. You know, and
I like that. That calendar one. Post something. I like that. That's good.
Yeah. But like I was using ChatGPT again, like on the other hand, to iterate what these icons were. So like, let me just kind of go into that real quick while we're talking about it. And it's like, go up a little bit here.
Oh, so you're
I'm basically, I want them to be creative, novel, funny, right? And something that's intuitive that'll grasp with our product, right? And then I get into that. And look, not every idea is going to be great, but a few of these were great. And then I just kind of like kept iterating back and forth. Some was like, okay, I want them a little bit more specific to the products, right? And then got that, right? Like you're thinking like podcast mic wearing lip gloss, you know, like just cool ideas that you're never going to see icons of. And unless you're a designer, you're never going to get access to do this stuff until now.
Yeah.
And so like I'm a quasi designer, I'm a self-taught designer. I know how to do certain things. Getting into Blender or Adobe Illustrator that's not my jam. I don't know that. So like to be able to do this is pretty amazing. And I just, look, like maybe some people are rolling their eyes. For me though, like it's just getting into use cases and exploring it and knowing how the tool can attack, that particular item that you're trying to tackle. That's the important part. And so, yeah, man, just had a lot of fun, kind of doing that. Took this into CapCut and just kind of like put them together. But
here's another thing that Phil mentioned to me that I didn't notice when I was generating images on ChatGPT. He's like, I don't think it's a diffusion model. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, you know how when you watch everything else generate on every other platform, like it comes out of like, the TV noise, and how ChatGPT renders from like top to bottom? He's like, I feel like it's different architecture. I was like, that's an interesting observation.
Ooh,
I was like, that's an interesting one, because that changes the game. I mean, right? Like if this opens up to API, which I think it will, you're going to have a billion use cases. Like
dude,
you're going to have
unbelievable.
Every wrapper company is going to, like every wrapper business, we might as well come up with one.
I'm saving I'm bookmarking every new use case I see in X, just because I'm like, I got to come back. Like I got to see, like maybe I didn't know that was possible, or I got to like try this for myself or whatever. But it's amazing. I mean, like I've got probably 50 to 100 bookmarks in here I haven't even looked at yet, you know, and I'm just like, I got to come back to this. I got to come back to this.
Because it's endless. I failed at something the other day. I'm trying to remember. Oh, I was trying to do an email, and I was trying to do like a full email design. Let me see if I have it. If I can actually find it. Like I was getting so close, but not there. Let's see if I have it here. Where? So I was using this structure, right? So this is a good, like, this might be a good like understanding of what was going on. So I was trying to have it create everything all at once. I'm like, can it do it? I don't think it can, but it couldn't, regardless. But I was like, again, same sort of wireframing structure. And then I was going to give it the picture of the bottle, and I was basically like, put the little arrows and put the features here. Eye-popping quote, CTA, word on the street, bold quote, testimonial, right? Pretty standard email marketing email template. So I gave it to it, and it wouldn't render in 1:3, like 1x3. I was like, okay, so we have to do it like this way, where it's just like, I give it the headline, or the the hero section, and then I give it the review section, and it's not terrible, but again, like it wasn't perfect. Like I gave it the logo, the branding.
Brez.
Yeah, the branding's off. This is off here. This is left justified, which I didn't want it to do. And then like asking it with so many variables now, this is just for everyone to know. With so many variables now, and if I was just like, oh, can you center justify this where it has also an error here? And then like, no, like the whole thing re-renders and it renders bad. Like I also don't like the color of the button here. I didn't ask for that. I wanted it in this purple. And like this part rendered pretty damn well, except for over here. This is something that I think you could, like, if you want to stylize like customer feedback or something like that. Like this came out pretty awesome for what all I gave it was I just screenshotted the text that people wrote on the reviews and just gave it this template, and it was like bang. So, it might be an interesting way if you want to do that.
I saw that. Somebody did something like that, and I thought I saved that one too. It was very similar. It was like, because that's also like another problem. Like you get these isolated like testimonials or feedback, and you have you can't really fuse them quickly into an image. And then now you could take an image of your product. Let's just take Brez, right? And then you take the review, a screenshot of your review, and say, hey, put this into a testimonial type of wireframe, and boom, right? You got it.
See, the funny thing is that like people's testimonials and feedback like oftentimes just works for ads, right? Like that's where I pulled this one from, wherever the hell it is. Like stylish, affordable, fast delivery. I'm like, I don't know how much more I need to say. That'll work. If someone is looking for something and you get all three of those things, like that's a value prop. So Again, anyone who's into marketing, right? There's so much gold in your reviews. You don't have any idea of like of like how useful that stuff could be, and how you can like retailer it and repurpose it a million different ways. It could basically write your marketing copy for everything.
100%. That's like the dream where you don't have to come up with anything
Yeah.
on your own, right? You're just basically reformatting people's thoughts.
Well, even if we go back to how we started getting going on this stuff, right? Whenever I was doing Midjourney stuff, and like there was ever a comment of like, "What did you mean by this?" or "I'm not seeing that," or "I don't understand what this means," I was like, "That's feedback. That's another post." So like you feed that. That's the marketing, right? Like people don't know the answer. Let's go give them the answer.
You're a content person. Just go on social media posts, right? Or you ask the right questions, you're going to get exactly the answers you need to inform your decision making, right? Like you don't have to think that hard.
Or if you're just getting started, this is a really simple thing you can do. If you're just getting started creating content, I know we've probably preached about this before in the past, and maybe you're posting stuff, you're not getting a lot of comments, you're not getting a lot of questions. Go on some of the bigger creators' stuff, and like whenever they post something new, like today with V7, like this is a perfect opportunity. V7, you go to some of the bigger creators' posts, you'll see 70, 80 comments on there, maybe more.
Yep.
Questions. And it's like, oh, cherry pick.
100%. Great advice. Yeah, it doesn't have to be your stuff, right? Like just surveying the landscape, having a pulse of those other accounts, because even though you may not get the comments, they might as well be going to you. And chances are they're probably not even going to answer them.
Yeah. That's what I mean. So it's like opportunity. And like even me and Drew going through this today, like having us looking at draft mode, I'm like, draft mode's a whole post in itself. Just like how draft mode works. Because that wasn't as straightforward as it seems.
It wasn't. I mean, that's a big one. Like even just like cracking even just the functionality of using it in the create screen, and then, clicking the mic and going into the box, and, I mean, there's a lot to figure out there. Also, like one last note on that. If you're, in Midjourney, go to the updates. They do announcements when they do have these major updates, and they did break that down. I was kind of skimming through that as we were on this pod, but sometimes there's some little nuggets in there, right, where you don't have to just rely on maybe this podcast to point them out, or you playing around with things to point them out. You can kind of like get some of the fine details in there. Sometimes there's always like a point or two where I'm like, oh, okay, like I'm not sure I would have known that otherwise, and no one's talking about it. So there could be some nuggets in there. Draft mode, I think they did do a video on too. Like there's like a minute-long video that they put out, but yeah.
See, I never watched those. And then like I realized I probably needed to for this one, because it's always like so baseline, but there is like something like draft mode. We haven't even thought about 1% of the ways to use it yet.
No. And one day we'll get office hours on the announcements too.
That would be great.
Yeah, they've got the tab.
Put them up on Discord.
I mean, the tab's there.
Just copy paste from Discord.
It's just a lonely tab. Yeah.
That's it. Or just have it. They've built one of the most insane pieces of technology I've ever seen. But like, could we just port from Discord post to blog post on the updates? I mean, could we just
just
could we
a little
zap
RSS?
that?
Yeah,
Could
I'll
you
zap.
RSS
Yeah,
that?
there you go.
Yeah, could we do something? I mean, it's not insane, guys.
Well, they don't. I don't think they have any markers on the team, man. So
they don't care. I mean, you know what? These are like the little things that are just like only because we're nerds we care about
for
it.
sure.
But
for sure,
I still think they nailed this one. I don't care what anybody says. Some of the stuff I'm seeing.
It's too early. It's too early to knock it. Like you have to really know what's going to take place the next, what they said, 60 days, first of all, because this is alpha, right? We just shipped. Also, we just talked about just 8 there are several variables already that I guarantee if you're listening to this, you probably haven't run enough experimentation on to really know, right? It's the various number of images, it's the personalization, it's the stylization stops, and it's relax, turbo, standard, and draft. So there's no way you've got it figured out by now. Go deep, experiment, play.
One last thing here that I forgot to bring up. Wanted to bring this up in the maybe in the beginning, but whatever. Have you seen some of these new tools that are launching, like the avatar tools that are like really, really impressive. Not like
Like which one are you thinking of?
There was one I saw on LinkedIn yesterday, and it was so good.
Hedra, maybe?
No. This one's way better than those. It's like you basically design a character. It's like you like create a character in a game and then go and do anything with them that you want. And I have a strong opinion about this one. I just wanted to see if you had a similar opinion. Like, how do you feel about AI avatars in general?
I don't like them. I hate them.
Me either. I hate it.
It's probably like the most obvious, like, I'm not interested thing I've ever seen in my life, to be honest.
Yeah. But I was saying this. Yeah.
Like the AI, don't know. I mean, like, how do you separate those two in your mind of like AI avatars versus just animating or putting lip syncing on something? Because like I do like that component, right? Of like creation, but I guess it's maybe the application of it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, don't put this AI avatar on and think this is going to be somebody that can just comment, like sit alongside a blog post or, like transcribe something and I'm going to sit there and listen to it. That shit ain't happening. I also am not, no matter how believable the voice is, I'm not listening to an AI podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just not the same thing.
At least yet. Like, I don't want to say never, but like that's not happening in the next year or two for me. Like I'm so not interested in that part of it.
Because I saw it and I'm like, are any of these companies asking if consumers want to listen to an AI avatar? Like, does anyone want that? And then we had a discussion in this other group chat the other day, and some great points were brought up. And it was just like, it's going to be so real, it's going to be indistinguishable soon. I'm like, fair. But then I'm like, how far do you have to go to keep up with the lie and or to give it some personality? So this is where I was getting meta. I was like, they're like, most people won't go and do the research. I'm like, well, if someone's telling me to do something or is like being super influential or I'm seeing them, I'm going to take one step back and like Google who this person is, or at least like ask Grok, be like, who is this person? And then if there's zero background history, it's going to be like, oh, it's an AI avatar. It's made up. Loses all credibility. But then it's like, do you go build LinkedIn profile and then start posting on it with agents? Do you go start building Wikipedia pages and like building a whole backstory and a life for a thing that doesn't exist? I was like, this is so, like, what is it? Like, what is the end game for having all the avatars? Is it just to be like, so CEOs don't have to go and do like appearances? Like, and they could just, do videos and podcasts and stuff as their avatar? Like, I don't understand who really needs it and who wants it.
Feels early for it, right? Because
like
you're not going to, maybe it's not ready for external custom, like maybe it's just priming. Maybe it's just priming us for what's coming, because like when you think about, I don't even like the word robots, but like you just think about like maybe there are robots now that do some of these jobs and we start seeing them regularly.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe it's get us used to hearing non-living entities with a human.
Come on. It's like these
component
AI
influencers. But at the end of the day, though, like if you've seen any of these movies, I know you have, but like,
of course I have.
You just know that like at the end of the day, it's still a robot. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So like you could kind of like play that card, but like, hey, dude, wow, I just had a child bust in on my podcast, so that's never happened before. Come here, you little monkey.
Join in.
Come here. Come say hi to Rory real quick. We're getting ready to wrap it up.
Who do we got?
We got Ellie Grace.
Oh, hey, Ellie.
We're wrapping up a podcast. I got the whole family joined. What is this?
We're ripping today. I like this.
Oh, my God. Well, if anybody makes it to the end, you're going to meet the whole fam here.
We got everyone. It's like a family portrait.
We got everybody.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. Well, yeah, man. Good. You hit him back. That's my girl.
That's right.
We don't let nobody hits you, baby.
Hell yeah.
All right. Well,
with that
said,
we can wrap it on that one.
Let's wrap it. Guys, we'll be back next week. I'm excited probably more for next week because you and I really have time to to play with this thing. You guys will have had time to play with this thing. Leave some comments.
Yeah.
What are you noticing? What's your feedback so far? What questions do you have? Did we
What do
say
you
something
hate?
that is? What do you hate? Did we say something?
Drop it.
That's wrong. Like, tell us. We're just here to be a messenger for you guys and also help you guys on your path here along the way. We'll keep it real. Rory, I'll let you do your thing, man.
As always, like and subscribe, damn it. Or just,
Well-
just like. You guys crushed it last week, by the way. Whatever you did, I don't know, liking, watching, engaging.
Maybe it was the
Video's doing
drop. Maybe it was the drop on a Tuesday. Just
Maybe.
an unexpected Tuesday.
Maybe we got the excitement factor for that one, or just we hit the zeitgeist.
I was gonna say, man, you spoiled it. I was gonna end the show
Had
with
to.
that. Damn
Had
it.
to.
All right. Well, we'll catch you guys next week. Thanks for joining us, Rory. Good to see you, bro. And we'll catch you guys in the next one.
Later.